Hey, what's up? It's Rashad.
And I'm Kesha.
Hang with the Joneses, of course. The name of the channel is now the Upon Further Review, where we do review, reactions, and of course podcast. This being one of our main ones. Glad to be back on it with you, Mrs. Jones.
Yes, we took a little hiatus, a selah, for the Christian folks.
We want to kind of just get everybody back up on what we've been up to over the past, I don't know what, year.
Right.
And essentially like a lot of that has been us doing our vow renewal and getting ready for that, preparing for that. The overall topic is going to be just the benefit of perspective and how we've gained a lot of perspective in and through that whole process, and also just being together for nearly like 22 years. So that's what we're on today.
So originally when we first got married, we kind of sort of eloped. It wasn't supposed to be anybody there. However, I can walk into his family was there. It's like, no one's supposed to know. So we never had like an official wedding. Like we went to church and, it was never official. So my thing was I always wanted an official wedding. Not always, but I said this is something I would like to celebrate. Originally, I didn't want an official wedding. Then I started to plan it when my grandmother was alive. And then afterward, I was like, you know what? This is something I kind of regret because we planned and then I canceled it. But now some of the people that we want to be there are no longer living. So let's celebrate the people we have here and celebrate us. So our official wedding day is November 20th. That's our anniversary, but I didn't want to have a winter wedding. And also it's so close to the holidays, I knew that people wouldn't be able to travel. So I like the sun. So I said, let's do it in July. And we had it July 15th of this year. And it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. For me, planning and the wedding, I started about a year and a half before, 2 years, a year and a half before. When did I start it?
You started in 2020.
Okay, 3 years before. And yes, I started planning. When did you start planning? The week before?
Nah, maybe before? Like 6 months out.
Yeah. So that's the difference right there, because that's a thorn in my side. I'm very organized and I like to plan things out. Like if I have the opportunity to plan it out, let me plan it out, because once it get close to the day or the day, there's going to be some bumps and some hiccups. So if we plan it out further enough, then maybe we can kind of eliminate those hiccups, or those hiccups won't be so bad. But Rashad doesn't have that perspective at all. Even during the vow renewal, we had different perspectives. I felt like, let's celebrate us. Rashad felt,
we don't need everybody to celebrate us.
Yeah. So, but you didn't even feel like we should celebrate us.
Nah, and that was me compromising. Mm-hmm. Like, cause on the real, I'm like, what do I need to let everybody know how I feel about you? I thought it was kind of, I just really wasn't, I didn't want to acquiesce to that. And that really has to do more with my feelings with being celebratory in general. Mm-hmm. And I just never, like, it really wasn't like a big thing to me. Like I didn't really care. And celebrations and getting together, it's like a hallmark for your family. Mm-hmm. And I just my people really don't get down like that a lot. Mm-hmm. So that was one of those merging of things early on where it was very uncomfortable for me, and I was just existing in this space, and glad to be around and stuff. But like there was a point where I was done, but Kesha was just getting started.
Yes, the party just started for me.
There was a lot of friction and tension that, at the time, again, talking about the benefit of perspective, that we both really couldn't articulate. Like I couldn't articulate why I didn't want to be there, and Kesha could not understand why I did not want to be there.
Yeah,
you feel what I'm saying? And it came across like I didn't want to be around them, when that really wasn't the case. I love Kesha's family, but there was a point in time where I'm like, I am done. You know what I'm saying? I have exhausted all the social capacity I have, and it's time for me to leave. And Kesha would be like, you ain't gonna know if it's gonna look like so. I'm like, yo, like it's not even like that.
But
Like
Rashad had a hard time.
I'm just ready to go.
Like Rashad said, he had a hard time celebrating. He didn't believe, like Rashad didn't celebrate his birthday. Like he doesn't celebrate anything. I'm the one who's like, why not celebrate yourself? Because when you're feeling down, when you feel you beat up on yourself, we're pretty good at beating up ourselves. When we do something, why can't we celebrate ourselves and celebrate our victories, celebrate our wins, celebrate just being here? So that was a thing that we really had to get in line with. And then even kind of negotiate, put a balance. Like, I'm going to celebrate. And even if you want to use the Bible, like, it's in the Bible about celebrating. We should celebrate. So then next thing was like, so how are we going to make this neutral thing? Like, what's the grounds for negotiation?
Yeah, and it was no negotiating. It was, I'm going to do this and you're going to do it with me.
Yeah, but no, I think we did negotiate.
No,
wait, listen.
There was no negotiating.
Listen,
it was
Cletus.
like, this is what I want to do, and you need to accept it.
Listen, Linda.
Okay, wow.
So the way how we did it, even let's say my family, we got together like on Sundays. Like my grandmother was living on Sundays, we got together and just to eat and just to get together. And then holidays, when Rashad came in, he was like, I remember we was at my grandmother's house eating, and he was like, Kesha, what's the occasion for all this food? I said, it's a Sunday. So my Sunday growing up, Sunday dinner was like the exact same thing as a Thanksgiving or Christmas. Literally the exact same thing, the trimmings and everything. So the holidays, our family came over, and it was even bigger, like cousins, and husbands and wives, like friends. Everyone came over to grandma's house. Grandma was very, very much the big mama. Everyone came to her house. First started, he would go in the room and like, oh, now imagine you bringing someone over to your house and then he separates himself, just go in the room. I'm like, my family is not going to take that well. Like, it's going to look bad. So the negotiation was, we'll stay there for a little while, and especially after they know him. He goes off in the room by himself, or maybe with other guys sometimes. And that, I feel like that was a negotiation. And then also I know, like, us, we could stay there all night. Like, am I right? Like, we stay all night. I knew that after a certain time, like, okay, even though if I wasn't ready, I'm like, okay, I know this, he's tapping out. Let me go ahead. Let's say my 10, 11, midnight, if I'm lucky. I'm like, okay, let's tap out. I know he's done. So I feel like that was a negotiation.
It didn't feel like it.
It didn't?
No.
What's the reason not?
Because it didn't. It just felt like I still was there way longer than I wanted to be.
Yeah. But then also, too, look at this. Rashad family lives close by. My family doesn't. So when time, for me, only saw my family once, twice a year. So, of course, I wanted to be around them. Rashad has the luxury of, like, today I want to see my father. He can go there and go see his father. I don't have that. I have to, we have to make preparation. So I did feel like, okay, that's a little bit, rude, because you have that privilege. I don't. So when I get around my family, it's like catching up for the 4, 5, 6 months that I wasn't there. Thoughts. And then his family they're now getting together. His family didn't celebrate like that.
I mean, and at the time, like, I didn't have a problem with you doing any of those things. I just didn't feel like I had to be there in the midst of all of it.
How does that look? Your husband not there?
I'm just saying, like, I was there. Like, I really want to say, like, and this is kind of how it is now. It was like, all right, I'm there for a lot of time, but then, like, after this a lot of time, like, all right, it's time for me to go. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a negotiation.
But again, back then, I'm glad in your mind you thought you was negotiating.
In my mind, you heard that. In my mind,
but for me, like, it wasn't really a negotiation. It was like, yo, because so,
and then maybe some things you just got to swallow.
Okay, and it's going back to the benefit of perspective. Mm-hmm. At the time, like, and like the way I looked at it was like, I'm sorry, the way that you phrased it to me and formed this argument of sorts was like what you already said. Like, I'm only here once, yada yada. My people, I'm not like, and I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with you being here with your people for this extended amount of time. But after a while, I'm done. And you was like, no, we not done. So so there was
We not ready.
Yeah. So there was no real negotiating in that. It was definitely for a period of time until I don't know what that real switch was for you, but you wasn't like, all right, I think we can kind of we can go now. Like it's cool. But yeah, for a minute though, it was definitely like that. Even the fact that the way you brought up, I have the luxury to see my dad was like, it felt like a dig to me.
But let me tell you the difference now. Rashad can go when they do have something at his father's house. He can go and stay all night, and I'm sitting there like, it's time to go. So it has turned. The wheels have turned. So I understand what he said, because Rashad, now that he has, I would say you open up more to celebrating.
Yeah.
So now that when he go to his family house and there's a get together or a celebration, he wants to stay for a long time. I'm like, Rashad, it's time to wrap it up. I'm doing my little sign, or no, it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, and I think I do a better job. I've done a better job than you at that.
Sometimes.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I could say we had to do a preacher's ending. We had to say it about 5-6 times, like, I'm ready. We're ready. We're ready now.
Nah, and on the real, most of the time I be the one ready to leave. Even at my people's house.
No.
Yeah.
That's nice you think that. No. But bring that up, how that goes with the vow renewal. This back and forth. I don't want to do it. Why are we doing it? That was the back and forth. And finally it was like, I'm doing it. No more back and forth. Because before then it was years of, we should do it. We shouldn't do it. We should do it. We should do it. And I was like, no, we're doing it. I'm doing it. This is it. Because sometimes with him, I got to push him over a little bit for him to see the glory. I gotta push you over. But honestly, now that you commit and you did it, what did you think of the vow renewal?
I mean, it was a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like it really was. Just the thing of it all, it came together really well. Because my overall, to be honest, like my fears was, I just wanted to go smooth. I don't want a bunch of dumb stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it to look or feel cheap. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you still got to do this on some sort of budget. And that's really was my concerns, because this, like for me, I always felt like I don't need people to celebrate what I have on my spouse. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't my mind wasn't allowing me to understand the point of that. Like, nah, yo, I don't need you here to tell myself or tell you how much we love each other. And that was my guiding thought. Even when we try to do this, like, you know, after like 7-8 years or so of marriage, I was like, this is stupid. Like, why do I have to pay money to let y'all know how I feel about my wife? Like, it's just that didn't register for me. And just seeing the different sets of people who actually came through and was there. And,
they showed out.
And how through different points of our life, because like some people like we don't talk to on a daily basis. So just seeing them be there and be able to celebrate with us and have fun and, you know, enjoy themselves within this kind of space that we helped create was eye-opening for me.
Yeah. I would say the people that were involved in our vow renewal, oh my gosh, what a team. And I think that was also important, because even though it might have been behind the scenes or even developing the team, the guests felt that energy. And that's the one thing I keep getting. It's like, it was so organized because I started like 3 years in advance. And then the energy was so good. Like your people were so like warm and open to receive them. And that was even it came down to when I was picking like vendors, like if my photographer got to have the same energy. My makeup artist has to have the same energy. Like my decorator has to have the same energy. You know, even my soror that came in to help me for my wedding coordinator, and my soror, who's did our vow renewal, like everyone had to have that same energy, and that made a load of difference. And I think that even help you with the crossing over and feeling like, oh, okay, this is really could be something.
Yeah and no. I might because my overall feelings, you know me with some stuff, I have to literally see it. And like a lot of times, I'll be really on the faith train. Like I'll go out there and have no clue of what's gonna happen. I'm like, man, forget it. I'm just gonna do it. Like that's really, and you be trying to ring me in on that. You know what I'm saying? Because you like the security part of life. I was thinking about this today. But
Yeah.
when it comes to like stuff like this, you said, and you have this grandiose vision in your mind, I'd be like, yo, I gotta see to believe it. And like day of, even day of, like I had to really mentally prepare myself to, I know this sounds like silly, but just to make sure that I'm not, excuse my language, an ass the entire day. Because when I get to a certain point, I'm like, yo, I'm done. And I know that I couldn't do that day, any part of the day. Like I couldn't be done until I literally went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because even after everything was over, we got to the hotel, I still had to be on to go find food. Because we ate a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then it was over. So at 10 o'clock at night, I still had to be on because I'm out in public. I'm out, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm not trying to get got because I'm tired or I'm not on. Like, so I had to make sure that I was on the entire day. And I really enjoyed myself way more than I thought I was.
Yeah.
Like I really did.
And that was my vision. So being that I know Rashad is not a planner. He's not an organizer. His plan, and I think that's the balance in us. I'm more the planner. I'm the organizer. Like, okay, we're going to do this at 12, then 12:15. This is how it's going to look. Like, I'm planning by every 15 minutes. As you see, Rashad wait to the 6 months out and say, okay, let me start planning this stuff. Which I took the majority of responsibilities for the wedding because I'm a planner. Yeah. Which I feel like, let me know what you think, aid in the smoothness or the organization on the day.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, and just as the roles we play, like a lot of that stuff I don't want to do. And you do those things for the most part. And it's like, this is what you do and this is what I do. So the roles that we play, even though, because, of course you had your brain tumor and me having to take on responsibilities I'm not comfortable with, I've had to take on and such. But for the most part, when it comes to like organizing planning crap over like a long like period of time, that's you. When it comes to this, like, okay, for example, today, what do you want to do today?
Oh, I got it down.
No. Just a broad thing of what you want to do today.
Go out?
Yes. Do you know where you want to go out?
Yeah, I told you.
When?
We was upstairs. I said after.
No, I'm not talking about like, but you see, but I'm not talking about going to the store and crap like that. Like, even like next week's like, I want to do something. I'm like, what you want to do? I don't know. I want to do something though.
Yeah.
And those like,
that's like me with food. What you want to eat? Something
and
good.
Those spur in the moment things, all those things fall on me.
Yes.
Now I have to be the one to bear the burden of entertaining.
Yeah, because you're the spur of the moment person.
Yeah, and sometimes like that.
And that's the balance, I think.
Yeah,
though,
for me,
because
like,
I'm the organizer and you are the spur of the moment. I think that's the balance, because sometimes you need organization, and sometimes I do need just like, okay, let's not try to organize to the 15 second. Let's go out there.
Yeah, and I guess just to be fair, I can see how my lack of being like thinking like you can be exhausting, and how and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Because I understand how you was like, yo, you need to get on this plan something. I'm like, yo, like it's 2021 January, and then you, let's say like consistently over a couple of weekends, like I want to do something, I don't know what to do. That can be very exhausting to me, because now I got to figure out what I'm going to do how much money we have right now, how am I gonna budget this? So like there's a lot of things that we both kind of have to realize and understand about each other that I think sometimes we just take for granted.
Yeah. Because and I think I said previously, like I call Rashad a procrastinator. Like Rashad does not, he procrastinates, and that is like my pet peeve. I do not, I'm not a procrastinator. If you give me, even while I was in grad school, when you give me my syllabus, I'm already working on the assignments. So when the time came, my things were done, and sometimes I was able to get out of school earlier because I finished all the assignments. Rashad's gonna wait until the week of the due date, and that's when he's gonna start. So even some of the stuff, I know we're saying, okay, planning out so far ahead, but honestly, even the venue we have, if we have not planned out ahead, we wouldn't have got the venue. Even some things like with the vendors, the photographer, if we have not planned ahead, we wouldn't have got any of that because their schedule was such where they were going like this. People were booking with them years in advance.
Because you got to remember too, this was mid-pandemic, and everybody was booking for late 22, early 23. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely it worked out in the end. And it's funny to see about vendors. Another thing too that was very important to us that we didn't get to share was every vendor, besides the actual venue, was all Black-owned local businesses. I mean, from cake, catering, makeup, decorator, photographer, my barber, like just anybody,
my hairstylist, makeup artist, the wedding coordinator, our chaplain,
every DJ,
yes, bartender,
everybody was Black-owned.
Caterer.
I said caterer.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So that was one thing that was very important to us.
And you know what? I loved it too because I know sometimes we can talk about Black businesses, about being unprofessional. Every one of them was on top of it. Every one of them did what they supposed to do and alleviate the pain points. Like they didn't come to us and like, should we do this? It flowed, and they went above and beyond what they were even hired to do. It was really awesome. Like the bartender and the DJ were my cousins; they were family. But even with them, they went above and beyond. Things that I felt good because I didn't have to think of every crook and cranny. They had to think of everything because they put themselves into it. But also, I made them aware and hopefully made them feel comfortable. I want you to bring you into it. Like whatever you do, I'm down. Long as it's not something like really just. But we said like whatever you do, I'm down for it. This is the rules of the venue. Don't go outside these rules. Whatever, let's make it fun. And that's the kind of atmosphere I kind of kept saying. Like I want it to be cool, chill, fun atmosphere. I don't want it to feel like someone's looking at me. And it flowed so nicely. Oh my gosh! So give credit and giving kudos was a pat on the back to those vendors. Support our Black businesses. They did excellent.
Shout out to y'all. Y'all really came through, and it was great, man. Hindsight being 2020, would you do this again?
Yes. And when I started planning, yes. Because of course we had hiccups, people who didn't come or certain things happen. But I feel like because we planned so far ahead, those hiccups didn't take us out.
Yeah, I won't do this again.
What's the reason you went?
I mean, I'm good. We did it once.
I thought you mean I thought you meant like live this situation, not doing like another 20 years.
I mean do it. Not like just it's in general. Would you do this again? Not the past event, but like another time.
No. No. And so it's funny because other people asked me, they was like, so I'll see you another 20 years. It was like, nah.
That's crazy.
This is nah.
I feel like another 20 years, y'all need to be doing something for us.
Yeah, I'm not planning every 20 years. No, this was the things, because part of it, when initially I brought it to Rashad about why we should do it, I felt like that when we just kind of eloped, not only did we kind of didn't have that moment, but we took that moment away from our families, our loved ones. You know, like my father, now he got a chance to walk me down the aisle. He didn't have to. Now my mother got a chance to see me walk down the aisle. And then I love that we have our children. They actually saw their parents getting married. Even, like I said, we were married for 20 years, but they actually was able to see it and was tearful and emotional, was part of the moment. So those are things, too, I feel like is important. And that's why I feel like it's important in celebrating. Because not oftentimes we see each other celebrating. Especially right now. You don't see too many things being celebrated, period, but especially for people of color.
I guess.
So I wanted to be and a lot of people told us we were the example, which that's not something I expected at that time. But hearing it, it's like, oh, well, I didn't expect that, but thank you.
I didn't even want it.
Yeah. So the end of result is
for real.
Rashad's celebrating more.
I mean, I am to a certain degree,
and I'm learning how to end it. Like I know how, like, okay, look at Rashad's eyes. It's time to go. That's that 22-year relationship.
Yeah.
23 years knowing each other.
Yeah,
I know when he's kind of done. So that balance is that, okay, we can do this, go out together. Celebrate, and then I know where to end. And then also some of the things, especially now, you stay home, go celebrate.
Yeah, which is a very new thing.
It is.
Which something I asked for a long time. Mm-hmm. But hey, you got to figure out how to, like, because it's weird. There's never been a time where you've basically been alone.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So
true.
There's been times where it's just been me, and I had to figure out how to entertain myself, what to do, you know what I'm saying, where to go. And maybe outside of the first couple of days in college, but after you found your community, it was a wrap. Oh yeah.
Not even that for me.
Oh yeah, because your people's still down here.
My people's down here.
Oh yeah, so this is another big thing for me, which I was gonna say at the at the renewal, but we just got caught up.
Yeah.
All right, so the main thing that I've been searching for like my entire life, but did not really realize that I already had it, and that was community. This sense of belonging with other people, and people that know that I can depend on and they can depend on me. And this community has definitely changed and shifted and morphed over the years, but there are some stalwarts or some staples in my community that have been there the entire time. Yeah. And that's what the vow renewal was for me. It was really more a celebration of us, but more a celebration of community.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Absolutely. So I like that, Rashad, because it wasn't just being which is okay to be selfish, but we wanted to celebrate the community as well. Yeah, definitely.
That's what it really was.
Same thought.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it really, like, as I started to think about it, I even talked about some therapy, because I was like, yo, I don't want to ruin the day. Like, that was like a fear of mine. It's like me ruining the day because of how I felt in my actions. It was like, nah, you got to just kind of relax and just, be in a moment and really allow yourself to celebrate and be happy for yourself.
Shaw'd even dance.
Yeah, I mean, it was a whole thing. So...
The way you did your face when you
said because I just don't be doing stuff like that no more.
And his community hyped him up and supported him being open.
Yeah, because they know me. Like, I don't. It's not that I don't care about stuff, but I just don't be having the energy for it. Like, nah, man, I could be doing something else. And that's one of the blessings and curses of how I was reared. It was like, oh, you did something great, awesome. What's the next thing? And I never really had I didn't have the capacity to say, okay, I need to actually stop and really be happy about this thing that I did and keep it
Yeah.
moving. And which even right now, like that's not like I'm not over that. Like I still fight that all the time because I feel like there's some things that I've done that are congratulatory, but I'd be like, what's the next thing? You know what I'm saying?
Like when he graduated his master's, it was like I had to tell him like, no, Rashad, you're going to attend your graduation,
and I
not
did
just for you,
not.
but at least we did the virtue because he wasn't going to do that. I was like, but you have to let your children see you achieving something too, for they're like, you're role modeling.
Yo, did not care. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And
I didn't grow up like that. My household, I was the only child, the only grandchild, the only niece. So everything I did got celebrated. Maybe it shouldn't have some of this stuff, but everything I got celebrated because I'm the only child in the house. So it's like, Kesha said something. So to celebrate. So to come where you don't it's like, oh my gosh, it's a totally different dynamic. But then even going back to it's important to celebrate yourself. And there's even in the word examples of celebration. And even when, God, he looked back at it every day was like, it's good. That's your thing. It's a good thing. You can look back on it like it's good. So I took you to church, right?
He said God looked back at it.
Shut up. I didn't mean.
I'm like, ow.
Tongue out. I did that. He gets on my nerve.
All right, y'all. That's a good place to stop. But yeah.
You're so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the benefit of perspective has been an interesting kind of idea I just been thinking about for the past like month or two.
Yeah. And
just looking at things from the lens of me being 41 years old and where I am in life right now. And I don't know if things could be different, but things they'll never be the same, if that makes sense.
I kind of like where it's at right now.
Yeah, I'm cool. There's some things I still like, and it's it's a lot of things like we still are in the process of accomplishing and doing, but I'll try to be more mindful of celebrating along the way.
Absolutely.
And not being so, all right, yo, what's the next thing I gotta do?
Right.
So it's gonna be hard, but I'm just
you gotta celebrate yourself.
I'm really gonna be more cognizant of that. You know what I'm saying?
Because for real talk, that's when you start seeing when you don't celebrate and realize your accomplishment. That's when you start seeing depression coming through and anxiety and all those things coming through. Because if your glasses you're wearing is everything is always bad and nothing happens, how long as a human you can take that in and not have an impact on you mentally? So you have to celebrate yourself. I mean, you really do. I celebrate myself sometimes for not overeating. And I celebrate, then I eat a cupcake or something like that,
So
I'm going to wash it out after that.
Yeah. All right, but that's really it for this one. We appreciate you guys. I know it's been a minute, but if you say this song, MVP for real, y'all already know. We'll be back. I don't know, maybe a week or two. I'm
trying to be consistent. I really am.
Me and Antonio will be back tomorrow. We're gonna be reviewing. If you want to hop on, you can. We're gonna be reviewing They Clone Tyrone. Wednesday, you didn't finish, right?
I'm watching. I'm finishing today. Yeah. Your child keep coming in, so I keep stopping.
Yeah. It's not for the kids. So doing that tomorrow. Wednesday we'll be doing our rewatch of Rebels season 2, and that's really it for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be more. This on my list of being more consistent with this, because between the last month or two, so many people like out of nowhere brought this up. Like, hey, when are you gonna do your hang with the Joneses again? And I was like, you listen, So I took it for granted. I didn't think people were listening, but how often it came back that people were listening and waiting for the next episode. Yeah. So I'm back.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there's like something to be again celebrated, and we did like almost 70 shows, basically nonstop. Like we took a week or two off, but like we was super consistent, and I don't think people understand just how much
Yes.
and how much of a grind that is. And on top of us having like you having two jobs, me having my job and also my little side hustles I'm trying to do. So it's a lot to do this for the free. You know what I'm saying?
I was just saying, it was parts of our life that I wasn't available.
Yeah.
I wasn't available for some parts of our life. So now things are balancing back out. And it was a good thing. It was a good thing that was going on in the background. It was nothing bad. So I'm trying to be more consistent now. Life has eased up. And when he said working two jobs, I did, and I have been for a while. I have my own outpatient mental health practice called TR Consultants, LLC. So you can Google it, look it up at trconsultantsllc.com. And I'm like, just to do, if you want to talk about your mental health, connect with a therapist, hit me up.
You should. But yeah, that's really it. And we'll see you guys next time.